Good morning and welcome. It's good afternoon. 110 episodes or 110. And I still can't get that right.
No. Morning, afternoon, whatever it is.
Yeah, good. Hello, day to you.
Hello,
Darren.
Day.
How are you?
Good
Hello,
day.
day. It's Bullock's Business Banter. It's the 3rd of July. Everybody's on holiday. Literally everybody except me and Darren.
Charming.
But it's sunny down where you are, though, isn't it?
It is very sunny today. Yes, it's looking nice. I think we've got a day of sun before the rain kicks in again. But yes, looking nice.
Oh no, we're cloudy, but the heat's building towards the weekend. So 32 at the weekend. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be superb. Right, let's do the headlines then. Here we go. So, new COVID and flu tests give results in 90 minutes. The rapid test for labs and care homes will help distinguish between COVID-19 and seasonal illnesses. Okay, then. Data leak reveals Iran cover-up for COVID-19 deaths. Nearly 3 times more people died than Iran's government admitted, record seen by the BBC show. Diners get 50% off as Eat Out to Help Out begins. The offer is valid at more than 72,000 eateries on Mondays to Wednesdays throughout August, including McDonald's. So that's terrible. But I'll talk about that in a minute. And here's one for you, Darren. Sewage testing for COVID-19 begins. They're looking for people to do this. Right. Samples will be checked for signs of the virus in the sewage systems to get early warnings of spikes in infection levels.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a nice job.
Oh, at least we haven't got to send it in. I was thinking we've got to send in the sewage sample, but they're doing it in the sewage.
Well, they started it in Europe. I did see a documentary, not a documentary, but a news clip on it on the news. And they've got these chaps down there just obviously fully PP'd up and an extra like a spacesuit was on, dipping these bottles into the waters in the sewage and testing them. Oh, what a job.
Nice, lovely.
But it's going to give spike. It'll show where the spikes are, which is good. That may work. There was a couple of other ones I wanted to talk about. Oh, Microsoft and TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Talks to continue after Trump call, because Trump wants to stop TikTok.
Oh, my daughter's devastated. She's like, Trump's going to turn off TikTok.
Not here, obviously.
I know, but all the stars are in America, aren't they? All the people that she follows.
Right.
So she's like, we've got to see it.
She needs to be her own influencer then, doesn't she? She needs to get on with it and be an influencer on TikTok for the UK. HSBC to speed up 35,000 job cuts as profit slumps. That's probably due to the bounce back loan system, which has failed for them completely. Yeah. But let's not get into that conversation because it just makes me sad. So there was a couple of things. You want to talk about SEO, did you, today? We'll talk about that. Yeah. We'll do that first if you want. Let's get on with that. We'll do the fun bit afterwards.
Yeah, and I know it's a shame Grant isn't on as well because joining it from a new startup, so looking at the new Segway sites and trying to work out where to put our money. And also, we're a world now of people who love likes. We love our likes.
Oh.
We like Google rankings. Have you froze? Have I froze? No, you're okay. You're back.
That was you. It was your,
we love our Google rankings and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it worries me that are we treating this marketing like we're treating Facebook likes, as in popularity, and just popularity equating to sales? And I'm really not sure. And it is very much business dependent as well. So for instance, my business, looking at do my local banners down on the beach or flag signs or whatever else bring in more trade than being higher in Google rankings or having a big Facebook presence? Or what's the percentage? What's the combination? And my business partner's really sold on Google rankings. He's very much about Facebook ads, very much about getting the building up. He's saying, it takes 1 or 2 years to build up your page and all this good stuff. But we're a Segway tourist business for maybe selling them, yes, but for grabbing that person who's down for a week. So it's trying to work out where is the best place to put your money when it comes to marketing, and I am not sold either way.
I mean, obviously, Grant on SEO. Grant is the guy to talk to about this, but unfortunately, he's in France. But SEO is very important. I know that for websites, and it is vitally important. So you must make sure your SEO is done correctly, because that leads on to everything else. Because it leads on to Google ads, which I'm a bit swayed by this now. Our systems in my company, we lean heavily towards Facebook adverts, and I think you have to take a pitch, especially if you're a limited, not a limited small company, not a limited company, but a small company that's only got a limited amount of money to spend, because you've got to put that money into, you've got to choose your side and put your money into that. Because I've seen, and I've dealt with companies who have spent tens of thousands of pounds on Google adverts, nothing's happened, nothing. They haven't generated a bean. The return on investment is the key word. It just doesn't work at all for them. Now, this could be many factors, because it could be that it's not the right type of business for Google. It's not something this particular business is not a conversational stream on social media. When I talk about social media, I mean do me Google as well.
Yeah.
So Google is, if you're searching something for specific, Google's the one. If you go, I want to buy a pair of shoes, and then it will show you all the shops and recommendations for shoes. And then with the cookies aspects and everything else goes on, it'll follow you around all day. So every site you go to, there'll be a pair of shoes advertised to you. So Google works like that, and it works really well, but you've got to have a lot of money to invest in that. Facebook ads and Instagram ads, they are very important as well, but they're more conversational, because those trigger the adverts, or our system does. When you build up a set of keywords, I'll give you an example. There's a company that is about to go and use our system, and they're starting an app in Malta, and it's like a What's On app, and they're going to do them all over the world. And he said, I need somebody, when someone types in, I'm off to Malta next week, anybody know where to go or to eat or drink or whatever? He wants the advert to appear, and that's what our system does. So you pick up the keywords, so which would be Malta, flying to Malta, holiday, and then when that's hit, the advert's shown, and so you don't waste money on that, because the advert's only shown when someone's triggered it.
Yeah.
You see, so it's called intent-based advertising, that is, and that's on Facebook. This is where we specialize in, so I know more about that. But Google is important, because everybody likes to be on the first page at the top. Everybody loves that. Oh yeah, it's great, but it costs a fortune to be there.
And does it pay? You know, I'd imagine it does in some respect.
Well, it does, yeah. Because if someone types into Google what to do in Bude, and then if you paid a few £1,000s, your face is going to be that'd be scary anyway, but your business will be at the top of the list. And so it's only like buying in the old days, and I only mean like 15 years ago, in magazines, you'd pay more to be at the front of the magazine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
That's how it works. Yellow Pages, typical example, is that you'd pay more to be on the right hand side than the left hand side, because when someone folds the page over, you'd see the right hand side. So that's how Google and all the other advertising platforms work, because you just pay more for visibility. That's all it is. But it's how you invest it and how you set the systems up. Google, you can throw a lot of money at it before it does anything. That's my point.
I don't know if I'm freezing or you're freezing. One of us is.
It's I don't know actually.
Yeah,
I can't tell. Go
on. I just for me, and some of the good examples of late are I've got an ad which had a small video on, not just a post, and that had about 300 views. I've got a paid ad with a video on at the moment, and we're up to about 1,500 views. But do them views really? Am I going? Oh, that's really exciting! 1,500 people have seen my video. Brilliant. Local ad. But actually, am I just advertise a segue to a 7-year-old or a 70-year-old who's unlikely to go and book, and they've watched my video and thought that's a nice video. You
Well,
know, so it's like you
is.
say, what materializes into a sale.
It is. This is where you've got to, unless you have expertise in Facebook advertising, it is very much you throw a load of mud at the wall and see what sticks. That's with the basic system. So how much was it a boost you did on the video? Or have you who's frozen here, me or you? I can't tell who's frozen here. I'm going to just check our live stream to see. Darren, is it you or is it me? I think it's Darren's end. I'm just checking. It's a beautiful picture, though. Okay, so anyway, I'll keep talking. He'll probably come back in a minute. Hopefully. Yeah, it is definitely Darren's end. That's all right then. I'm just checking because it's we're still live. So yeah, when you work with Facebook, it is very difficult. Here we go. He's coming back on. It's definitely your end, Darren.
Yeah, I've literally just. He says I've gone again. My screen's gone completely off this time.
Are you on? Is somebody else on the Wi-Fi there?
I've just switched to internet. I have two internets at home, so I've just switched from one to the other just in case.
As we all do.
Absolutely, yes. I've
so don't start showing off.
But so yeah, it is. And I think what I am. Sorry.
No, go on, carry on. What are you going to say?
Yeah, well, I think that the hard thing is understanding which bit of your advertising, because you do need a local presence. So, for instance, we're in Visit North Devon. We pay them. Tourist information offices. We have leaflets. Obviously, we've got signs along the road close to where we are. And it is the hard part is understanding where the majority of your effort should be placed. And this is something that I'm looking at doing now. So all of our customers have to sign a disclaimer. And we're going to, at the end of that disclaimer, we're going to put a tiny little tick survey, because no one likes ticking these things. Google, Facebook, local, word of mouth, other. So we can try and get a feel and a gauge. And it'd be a good experiment over the next 4 or 5 weeks to try and understand what is the percentage. Did you drive past one of our signs because we're on a main trunk road? Did you pick up a leaflet, or actually you were on Facebook? You're one of these new people, fancy dancy, and we're going to go and Google you and find you. Fancy dancy. It's a very technical term in marketing. So yeah, and I'll try and share some of them results, because I think it'd be really interesting. My gut feeling is, for the type of business we do, we might be 60-40, 70-30, still internet based, but I think the local will have a bigger input than what we probably understand. But nevertheless, if it was 70-30 or 60-40, then that's maybe how I spend going forwards, that we put more signs up and or we put more into internet.
I would say from a marketing point of view, and it's not marketing's not my bag completely, because obviously it's just all social media I am, but on a marketing point of view, I think your banners and your posters and your flyers and your what do you call them, big flag things that bend from what?
Yeah, the feather flag.
I think because of your business, that is essential, and that shouldn't be cut. That you still need to do that, because people are coming into your area because they're visiting Bude, aren't they? So they're coming in to visit Bude, and they'll see those things and go, oh, we could do that tomorrow, or whatever. They'll plan forward.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it on internet based, it's essential that you do something on the internet. But when people come down, they will search on their phones, obviously, for what to do tomorrow or whenever. But there's a fair chance that they'll see your banner first before they pop on, across it on Facebook or on Google, because they've got to search for that first. And most people, in my worldly wise family adventures going around the country and whatever, you drive to somewhere, and if you do see a massive poster, it sticks in your head. And what you usually do is you go and Google that or search it when you get there.
Yeah,
so it's a combination of everything. But the only thing you don't want to fall into the trap is that you're spending loads of money on your local area, serious money, not 20-30 pounds. I mean, serious hundreds, thousands of pounds. just on your local area, trying to grab people there, because most people visiting the area won't be living there. They'll be from outside the area. So you've got to think, if you're going to do national, you've got to do where's the main base of people that come down to your area? Because I know that Salcombe on the other coast, everybody from Solihull goes there, because and they all own the second house. So you sort of where your hotspots are. And I would say Bude is, it's probably, you probably get a lot of Midlands-based people come down there. Would you say?
Definitely.
Or because obviously the M5 and all that type of
Midland and Londoners, So, like you say, maybe we're advertising within 50 miles range of our business is probably the wrong thing to do.
It's to tell people locally, but that'd be people who live there, and most people probably know you anyway. So I think for local advertising, a boost is great, but I wouldn't spend more than £20 on it on Facebook. And then you said yourself, you've had 1,500 views of the videos, but you have no idea if those people are going to make a purchase or whatever. So that's the problem where you fall into the boosting section. So I would concentrate really flyers, posters, banners, what you're doing already, word of mouth, as they used to say, and then spend some serious money on outside the area, because that's the. But then it's you've got to start researching where people come from. But I take it all the signs that the forms they have to fill out, they've got their address on, have they, for the insurance purposes?
Yeah.
How many of them have you got?
System. So when they book online, we've got a fantastic mail shot. So the interesting thing is with the two sites. So you look at Bude. Bude is having the best year ever. Bude is absolutely flying. And when we look at the new site, so North Devon's only just opened. It was meant to open in the spring, but only just opened in the summer. That's running between 15 and 20% of what Bude is now. Bude is out the way, actually, so you don't get to see the sign so much for Bude. But it has over 4,000 likes on Facebook. It's got repeat trade, holiday trade, but also people are finding it. So new people are finding it, which is really interesting. With Bude, we do paid ads a lot on Facebook. With the North Devon one, we've just started doing a few boosts and whatever else. That one is on a main trunk road, but it is a new business. So Bude's had 4 years of SEO, getting up the ranks and all that good stuff. So it is really interesting to try and compare the two and work out, where your efforts. And you're right, you've got to find that combination. But I want to, and maybe that geolocation stuff is really important. I don't know whether there's such a thing.
I'm going to jump in here because I'm going to give you some free advice.
Okay, I like free.
Right. And it's very rare from a Bullock family member to give out free advice.
I'm aware of this.
How many email addresses do you have from customers over the past 4 years? Or how long have you been doing this for? 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, I'd say 6,000 email addresses.
Right. Have you used them to input into Facebook?
First time. And the reason why there's been because of GDPR. What's it?
GDPR.
Yeah. Because it's assumed all historic email addresses have answered no to being contacted. And it has to make that assumption. So therefore, we've been worried about using them. But actually, looking at the laws, this is the first year we've done a mail shot. And that's because as long as you put the unsubscribe on.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because there's a trick with Facebook. Only marketeers know this. Now, I'm not sure. Somebody may correct me on this. I'm not sure if you can access this section of the Facebook audience, because it's how it works is that you can build what they class as a lookalike audience. Okay. Oh, that's made your eyebrows go up, isn't it? So you've got 6,000 emails there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you put it into Facebook, all the email, just copy and paste with a comma after each one into the lookalike audience. And what it will do, it will look at all those people who are your customers, and it will figure out who they are and where they are. And it will figure out what type of people they are, if they've got a family, and it's probably family members that are booking. So the type of people, what we're trying to do is advertise to those type of people, not to advertise to those people, because as you say, GDPR came in only a year or so ago. So you've probably got data before that, but these people aren't advertised to, and they're not showing you adverts. But what that happens is it builds a lookalike audience of people like those 6,000 people you put in.
Okay.
Now, as I say, I'm not sure if this system is just open to everybody, because of course we're an agency user, so we get to use that sort of things. But it is there to use. But you got to spend a bit of cash on the Facebook adverts, and I don't mean a lot, but you need not your £20-30, but you need into the £500, something like that.
Yeah.
And that will then build a campaign for you specifically, and will advertise it to people who have used your services before. It's really complicated, but it's all to do with how much data that Facebook own on you.
You see, I think, and this is it re-emphasizes that we all think we know a little bit or a lot about stuff we don't know a lot about. I'm technical. I think I'm good at utilizing these type of things, but the reality is, like you always say, don't just throw money. Advertising needs to be intelligent, and I think that's not wanting to plug your business, but I think that just sort of re-emphasizes why you do what you do and I do what I do. And I think as much as I might have a little bit of knowledge that may help, I also might be throwing away 40, 50 quid here and there. That doesn't add,
can add up to a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can, out of that 1,500 views of that video, did your likes on your page increase?
They did increase. They increased. Yes. Yeah, they increased about 50%, which was quite impressive. But there was two different posts. One was a competition. Competitions are fantastic for generating likes. Give away a few Segway rides, and you get a lot of new friends. So, but yeah, it is interesting. But again, I think that's why I've sort of thrown my head into it over the last month, and it's just confused me. And I think that's where I'm starting to wonder: is SEO and advertising a dark art or a false dark art? You know what I mean? And I'm starting to believe it is a dark art. And I think I understand why people specialize.
There's certain systems that we run, and when you said that question earlier, this is turning into a pretty customer call. This is when you said about that question earlier. Sorry, everybody, if you're watching. It's interesting, isn't it? But when you said that message earlier about is it real SEO? Does it work in this way? And SEO is real. But if you had somebody else who was doing a Segway tour thing, God forbid, because you're the greatest at it. All right, so you've got the two businesses there. How many followers you got on your Facebook? Come on, you should know straight away.
4,500, yeah.
Brilliant, good number. It's a good number.
Yeah.
This other Segway company has got 10,000.
Yeah.
Bit panicky, bit worrying. So a customer comes along, types in Segway tours. I don't know if they would do that, but that's what they would do, and brings up both the businesses. Which one are they going to go to? The one with the 4,500 or the one with the 10,000 followers?
Now you're always at the highest.
Yeah, exactly. The human instinct goes to the higher one, but don't always believe those figures, because we sell packages, that we can build you to 10,000 followers for £200.
Oh, okay.
But they're real people. They're all real people, but they will never buy or anything off you. Never will. Different countries all over the world. I mean, it's a special system that we use, and there used to be, with the dark art side of thing, where you could there'd be rooms in China and Japan and all those places that would be full, thousands of phones, okay, and they're all linked together by one master computer, and they would follow Facebook pages, Instagram pages when they're paid, when they're activated, but they're all false accounts. Those are, they're not real people. So that's how they used to be. But now we have a system where we advertise links on real, high-end web pages, spammy web pages, which get millions of people that go through it. You've seen them on the bottom of different posts and things where click here about Tom Hanks falls into a cave and gets mauled by a monster, whatever. And you click on it, and then you get loads of stuff flying at you. Well, we actually utilize that by advertising on them, and we actually give them. I mean, this is a dark art secret. So prepare yourself, everybody. I feel like I should do news behind the news. We can give them Amazon vouchers if they click your link and follow you. And the voucher's only worth £1, but that's how it works. And then by the end of the day, I can add 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 followers to someone's page, and they're real people, but they'll never engage with you, never buy off you.
Yeah.
But once you've set that up, your customers come along and go, oh, okay, yeah, look at him. He's got like 10,000 people following. Yeah, that must be a good company.
Yeah.
And then book you. So it's not just a factor of one thing of just where you advertise. It's a multifaceted campaign that you have to run.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So
Very
anyway,
no,
it was a bit of a long-winded.
It is good because I think everyone must feel the same, especially when a lot of startups and how important is the web and trying to work it out. And it is hard one to work out. And certainly for each business, it will be very different from a hairdresser's to a Segway business to whatever. Everyone's going to have a different way and a different percentage of where they put their marketing money. So it is hard to work out. Hence,
before we move on to the final subject, which we've done 26 minutes on this. I'll leave you with one thought, and this is the thing. Advertising and marketing is difficult. It's always been difficult when you had newspapers, magazines, whatever, flyers, postal flyers, everything. It's always been difficult because in the old days, you'd have to spend, you'd have to print 1 million flyers that the postman would stick through the doors. It still happens today, but you'll only get a very small percentage of that back, which is normally, about 17% would pick up and read it. That's the normal percentage. So don't think digital marketing is the be all and end all everything. Just because you play 500 or £1,000 digital marketing, it may not work because you may be just not hitting the market correctly. So yes, still do the flyers, still do the banners, still do the feathery things and digital marketing at the same time. You do the whole thing. Don't think one is a fix-all advertising campaign, because it isn't. That's my soapbox bit finished. Right, so just before we go, now I read this article which Google has announced plans to build a new undersea network cable connecting the USA, UK and Spain. The tech giant says it's incorporated a new technology into the cable, which it claims is a significant upgrade to older existing lines. The project is expected to be completed by 2022. But then Darren goes, oh yeah, they're already here. So is this where all the cables come into the UK?
So there's a few places. I think Porthcurno is another one, and there's actually a museum there, a telephony museum. There's a big transatlantic cable. It might be Mediterranean because it's on the south coast, down that side. At Widmouth Bay by me, it's about 3 or 4 miles along the coast, and also at Bude, there's transatlantic cables that come in. But you've also got to remember that GCHQ is at Bude, so we've got the biggest coastal listening.
It was at Cheltenham.
Oh no! So you've got the biggest coastal listening eavesdropping station in the country on the hills of Bude. So a lot of it comes in and is also monitored there. So and they actually, weirdly, these transatlantic cables, as we get some big tides, you can actually see them. They're exposed.
No.
Yeah, so you can take an axe to them if you wanted to, but they're there. They're there. That's
I'd say they've probably got a good covering on them, though, haven't they?
You'd hope. But transatlantic cables aren't a new thing. You're talking 1860 or 1850 when we started laying transatlantic cables. And we were the first to do, as ever, as our good job. Why have I forgot his name? Andy is not there, because we were the first to do this stuff, and we were communicating towards the middle to end of 1800s. We were communicating with China, India. We had cables pretty much everywhere in the sea, and you're talking well over 100 years ago. But yeah, Bude is I don't know. It must be where we face. We must be a really good location for them to come in.
Well, I think because looking at the map they've got here, it's like virtually a straight. I'm looking at the screen, so I can't see it, but there's virtually a straight line from New York to Bude. I mean, I'm just reading what the report says. It's at times to time across the sea. It's 8,000 meters below the sea, and they're saying that 750,000 miles of cable already run between continents around the world. So you were right there. 1858 when there was the first cable. 1858. So well, this new one is obviously hyper fantastic because Google are doing it. The latest cable will be called Grasshopper. So that's interesting.
But people don't realise that 98% of comms go under the sea. Everyone thinks it all goes up in the air and via satellite. It's too slow. You can get more than 8 or 10 times the speed by going under the sea. So 98% of our voice traffic, our internet traffic, all goes via marine cables.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, we're connected that way. There's so much lag with satellite communication.
Well, until Skylink is
Of
obviously
course.
a bit lower, that'll sort it all out then, won't it?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, that was really informative today. Well done, Darren, for bringing those subjects up.
It was almost business-like, wasn't it?
It was nearly just a completely business show until I threw that Google bit in the end.
And
Excellent. Okay.
COVID. Can I just say, there was very, very little COVID.
Only in the headlines. Just in the headlines.
You got the best bit, COVID in poo. That's perfect. Yeah.
It's actually a COVID-free zone. So that's excellent. Right, so Darren, thank you very much for being on today. We may be back on Friday because of the lack of people. But I'm back here on Wednesday for the Did You See show. You can join us with that if you've got nothing to do, Darren.
Yeah.
And me and Pete Sheriff will be on then. If not, we'll see you on Friday. So, Darren, thank you very much. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
No worries. Cheers all. Bye.